wanna see this. Yeah. Hey, I remember.
Hi, I'm Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
And this is another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies.
Hey, Paul, what's up? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm great. Here on a Saturday morning, afternoon. What time is it? 2:30? So, Saturday afternoon, having a good time talking about SEO with my friend.
4:10, dude.
Oh, shit, what time is it?
Where does the time go? Anyway, today we have an interesting one for you. It's kind of a sequel to our previous one that we did about like outsourcing SEO clients.
I think we call this a series. We've talked about three in this. At this point, this will be the third one, right?
I can't count.
Yeah. So if you listen to some of the previous podcasts, which is a very early one, so I'm really sorry if you did listen to those because the quality was really crappy.
They're still good lessons.
Still good lessons.
Think about the content.
So we talked a little bit about one was how to send clients to other SEOs. Mm-hmm. So your SEO clients that you have that maybe you can't service or you can't work with for whatever reasons. So how do you send those and actually make some money off of that while still having them?
So that turns out that's exactly what we did. And Paul has now acquired a lovely fitness client. And now that he's signed, I believe yesterday,
yes,
we're going to go through the involved but not necessarily complicated process of onboarding this client to set him up for success and make sure his expectations
a checklist, if you will,
uh-huh.
for the first month of a new client coming on.
Yeah, so we thought it'd be appropriate to go over it because this is actually me telling him how we do it, but it's actually being recorded. So, this is some real life stuff happening right here.
Real life SEO marketing shit. Good shit for you to use.
There it is. So the onboarding process is pretty much a few things. He's going to have a call with this client on Monday, and he's going to go over a few things. We're going to discuss what that call should look like. Potentially the client's going to fill out an onboarding form. If he doesn't do the onboarding form this time, which seems like he might not be able to fill it out before Monday.
I'll have it filled out before Monday.
I'll talk about a little bit how that goes, but most importantly, what the whole process is going to look like. The whole process, pretty much, my company, Market My Market, has developed a checklist that we go through that more or less does apply to almost every client that we onboard. And we're going to go over what that checklist looks like. And basically, by the end of the onboarding, the client's going to be super excited. He's going to know what to expect. He's going to know all the work that you're doing.
Pumped.
And then you and Andrew
I have everything outlined.
And we're going to know
what we're going to do.
You're going to have a schedule, and you're going to know exactly what it is. And he's going to know what you're doing. And you're going to know what to do. And that's why we're talking about this.
All right.
Perfect. So let's get the onboarding form out of the way.
Okay.
So an onboarding form is basically like imagine a elongated contact form with just more information. This is
That's difficult to imagine.
So yeah, don't. So basically, not everyone. This is more like optional. This is something that my agency does, but it's a good way to get that preliminary information sooner than later.
Okay.
So it basically is a form that's like, let's solidify the name of your company. It's like just reiterating things you already know.
So what type of document does this live as? Is it like
they felt like it's like an online form and they submit it and we get it as like an
something
email.
like that. All right.
Yeah. So basically, it's just like making sure like right off the bat we know, like without a doubt, once and for all, like the name of your company, our point of contact, the phone number, the address. You'd be surprised like how often, like people, like for example, you go on someone's website and they say the address, right? And you're like, okay, that's their address. But you don't always want to assume things because people are crazy.
Yeah.
So what'll happen is
maybe they put their home address.
So sometimes people will be like, they'll submit what's your official business address and actually something different.
Yeah.
So that's like the reason you do like the onboarding form. It's just like official phone number, official address, official like this and that.
So you have this as what are you using as like a plugin for this on your site?
It's like, it's Gravity. It's like Gravity form contact form.
Okay.
It's a form like anything else with more options.
But if you were in like a pinch, you could make something in Google, like a
Sure.
Google survey form or whatever that thing is.
Yeah, it's anything that can easily capture information, anything that can easily fill out. Yeah. You could do like a Google sheet for all, with like
whatever. Just
everything.
have them fill it out and make sure it's like official.
But the questions you want to ask that we realized were important is also like, who are your biggest like perceived competitors? That's nice to know. We ask them like what your ideal client is like. That's nice to know. And then we ask them like, what do they consider like qualified lead? It's just like a general thing to kind of get them like talking, get their like brain sort of like in marketing
thinking
mode.
About it.
Like, let's start talking about you, your business, what you're all about, and what we're going to accomplish, and get like the brain juices and synapses clicking and firing.
All right.
So that's like the first thing. So that's a quick one. Everything else is going to be really long.
All right.
So basically,
we're going to keep this kind of short for this podcast.
if this is already boring, get out of here.
Oh,
But
man.
now it gets more exciting.
We'll try to make it more exciting. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll figure it out.
Well, you're going to have your first onboarding call.
Yes.
Okay. The onboarding call has to be very organized because you don't want to waste anyone's time.
Yeah, why don't we practice that right here in this podcast?
Well, I can tell you.
You be the guy, I'll be me. No, I'll be Andrew, you be the guy. Okay.
How about you're Andrew? I'm
Andrew.
No, I'm not, dude. This is Darian. No, there's only like a few things that you want to go over in the onboarding call. There's two things that we do. Typically, we already have the 30, 60, 90 created by the time the onboarding call is.
Okay.
So 30, 60, 90 is like, what you're going to be doing next 30, 60, 90 days.
Okay.
And we break it up by like SEO, website, social, all that stuff.
Okay.
So typically,
I'm going to have to do that tomorrow.
So basically, you're going to go over two things. It's like, hi, I'm Paul, I'm doing this. I'm Andrew, I'm doing this. Okay, cool. And then the person's like, I'm doing this, or this is my point of contact.
We didn't break it down in a time frame in the proposal that we sent. Man, I'm using a lot of ums there. Watch that. No, we didn't break it down as a timeline, but we did break down everything that we'd be doing in the proposal when it was sent over to.
So you want to make it like a calendar,
Yeah,
sort of.
Literally the 30, 60, 90.
Yeah, 30, 60, 90. We use 30, 60, 90s. We do an SEO 30, 60, 90, and we do a content 30, 60, 90.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are doing a content schedule.
We will be doing minimal blogging for this client.
So you don't have to like really do a 30, 60, 90 for that.
Yeah, the big thing that's going to come from this client is going to be social.
Okay.
He really wants to go big on social. He doesn't. He wants like a really good base for his website, right? Like a good foundation from an SEO perspective. So metadata is all taken care of. He knows the keywords that he needs to be going after.
So this is what that'd look like. So you'd like do 30, 60, 90 to be August, September, October.
Oh, it's just a calendar. Okay.
Yeah. Like, check this out. You pulled up.
Really,
I thought that was
I'm really
something
impressed
special.
by what you're putting together here.
You thought it was something special. It's just
It's
like
a cat
freaking
calendar. It's a physical calendar that you got from
cascading from
Borders Bookstore.
Borders, yeah. The last one is right here.
This is a really distracting video.
But yeah, the 3690 would be like, week 1 we're gonna build ads. Week 2, we're gonna start reviewing ads. Week 3 we're gonna tweak A/B. I don't know. We don't have to get into that, but that's basically the whole purpose of that. And then also it's a good opportunity to like come to the client and show and prove that you kind of have a little bit of knowledge about their industry and you're kind of like invested into like what they're trying to do. So what we try to do before an onboarding call too is do a little bit of competitive research, which I don't know if you're going to have one day to do it, but basically you would go and you'd like
do it.
You'd look at like his competitors and you'd be like, I know that ABC Fitness does A, B, and C. Is that something that you do? Yes, no. We noticed like this is his competitor. It's just a good way for him or the client to
get an idea.
Like,
expect.
Oh, you already not only are you like already prepping
together.
an account and doing it, but you're like actually like doing research. You're getting to know my geography. You're getting to know my competitors. And it's just anything you can do to get like on the right foot where they're like these guys are spending time to actually like understand like who I am and what I'm going after and what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay. So, frankly, that's really what the call is and the form is.
Okay.
And we're at like 8 minutes.
Oh man, we really. I thought this would last a lot longer than this.
But that's what the onboarding process itself is. Okay. So we're going to go through a checklist for all y'all listening. Pull out your notepad, pull out your typewriter, pull out your Dragon Diction, and you can recite, and all that stuff. But basically, we're going to go through what a good onboarding process and the checklist pretty much looks like.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to need you to chime in.
Oh, I'm going to hopefully chime in on these
tell
things.
me what you... how you feel about it and what you would approach, if there's anything you do differently, all that stuff. So the first part is very simple. It's going to be the info collection. So the onboarding form is going to do some of it. It's going to get maybe like their Facebook login, their Twitter, their YouTube, Google, Instagram, blah, blah, blah.
And so I don't want to act like I don't have other clients already. Just so people listening, like I do have clients that I've had for years. I don't often take on new clients just because I can't afford from a time standpoint to do it. But
well, you mentioned it's fitness niche too, though, is why.
Yeah, this is a little different because I don't ever. This is the first time I've been in the fitness niche, and I'm really just trying to sort of do a lot of stuff in that niche. I found it's like a lot easier to have clients and do SEO if you keep them all in the same niche because you're really like building on the learning that you're doing for like one client. And, it's easy to pass that on to like another one.
Yeah.
But before getting way too off topic here, I want to just talk a little bit about how important it is to have all of this information in one place up front, because like the worst thing ever, and well, I'll even go like a step forward, like farther than that. So let's say you get the login credentials for the Google account for a client, right? So maybe they have Google Analytics already, and you want to. So don't just settle for their login credentials. Add your email to that account as like an admin.
Well, like login to admin, grant yourself.
Yes, grant yourself access. Do not just have their login, because people change their emails all the time and forget about it. And sometimes the clients are really hard to get a hold of, or who knows like what happens. So like don't just trust like the login credentials that they're going to give you. Like set your own stuff up on there right away.
Oh, and also log into all of them, and I can tell you that firsthand, because if you don't, you just get them.
Don't take their word for it either.
What'll happen is, here's a great example. You never log into their analytics, right? And then you're working with them for like a month, and then you go in, and then you realize you can't log in. That means that you didn't have a month of data, and then you ask for it then, and then they look stupid.
Whoa, yeah. So on day one, log in, look at all this stuff, gather all this information, and it's going to make your life so much easier. And also set up all the stuff that like isn't set up that you would normally have. Like don't wait a month to do that. Like if they don't have Search Console, like set it up that day.
Do it that day.
Set up Google Analytics that day.
This is all week one like stuff.
Like install like Tag Manager. Like do all that stuff. And maybe you don't even use Tag Manager, but like have it, and you can at least say you installed it.
Yeah, so, there's a million reasons. Well, also I have to say the first month you're probably going to do too much work. That's why. Like,
well, anyone that's done SEO knows that the first 3 months are entirely like the most work heavy.
Yeah.
Right. Like you, all the work is in the front loaded for SEO clients, and it takes that's usually the months when they're wondering like why they're paying you any money at all.
Like nothing's happening yet.
See any like benefit from it.
Well, that's the whole reason that you do this, because every single time I have a client that's like, oh, it's been a month has gone by. I don't really know like what you've been doing, and even if you set the expectations well, like it doesn't happen in a month. What you do is when you have 30, 60, 90s and you have like this all laid out, at the end of the month when you give them a report, you're not only showing analytics, you're showing all the work you completed. And when your checklist, you send it, hey, the first month we did 40 things. The client is always
going to feel great because
the client's going to be like, cool.
You've done a lot of work, and they love you because they know you've done a lot of work. So everything's like really good.
Yeah,
but I will say, I've even had clients that like I've done work for free. So I don't even call them clients, friends that I've done free SEO work for.
That sounds like a friend to me.
And they're like, what's happening? And I'm like, man, you can't like criticize. Like it's only been a month. It takes longer than this, but also I'm doing this for you for free. So
that's even worse.
Yeah. So
like, what did you say to me?
This is like, even if you're doing this for your own website too, on the side, whatever. Like just follow this checklist. Like this is a good way just to get anything started, whether it's your own, whether it's a client that you have. It's just a good place to start.
And all this isn't just for fitness. This really does apply for everyone.
Yeah. Like
where we go through. Don't tune out because I said fitness. It's just like. We're taking something that we know for a fact.
For anything, guys.
This is all good for everything. So,
all right, so let's start. What you got first on this?
Yeah, so you're getting. I think you're doing the onboarding form, which could get all these things. But if you don't want to get it through a form, or they don't want to fill out with like a form for security reasons or whatever, you're gonna have to find a way to get all their social. You're gonna want their hosting because there's always something that happens. Not always, but it's just nice to have their hosting. Let's put it that way. Because
I totally agree.
You might have to FTP, you might have to install SSL, you might have to renew something from them, you might have to buy another domain from them. It's just easy if you just have it. Of course, analytics, like you mentioned. Obviously, the website. Like if you can't log into their website, you're probably not doing a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And then you want their Google My Business too, which could be separate login. So Google My Business is important because their category might be off, their information might be out of date. You might want to add pictures. Everything comes with Google My Business. And I'd even go as far as asking if they have a Bing Maps, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they do.
Okay.
So, as you can see here on the list, that's pretty much the info collection part.
So let's...
That all
happens. Okay, you really have read through all this, actually.
Yeah, that's like this is like the first week.
Yeah. Well, let's just give you guys, like... Because we already mentioned a couple of things, but let's just read off like everything that's on this. So this is how comprehensive.
You just want to read it all?
Let's read off like everything that you need, that you have on this list that you need to check.
I think this is a pretty comprehensive list. I don't think we're missing too much. So you want
Yeah, so let's just start from the very top there. So like literally every social account you have.
Yep.
So Instagram, Facebook. So if they don't have an Instagram, do you make it for them or you charge extra?
It just depends if it was in your initial scope of work. Like
So,
we
yeah.
will. That's
So
like
if they ask
prior.
for Instagram marketing in their scope, in the initial scope of work, and they don't have one, you're not going to charge them any extra for that. It's just like going to have to be a part of like what you got to do to get like the marketing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're working together like 2 months later, like, should I have an Instagram? And you're like, sure. And you go, okay, can you make one? It's like, that's up to you. Like, oh, am I going to charge a couple hundred or do it?
Charge a couple $100.
I don't know. I don't know. I've heard weirder things. But yeah, I don't want to get too hung up on that because all this other stuff is way more involved. So then the actual onboarding is the website work, or at least preparing for the website work.
Okay.
And it starts with keyword research. And then we talk about our keyword
So how
research.
much of this are you showing them?
The keyword research?
Yeah.
All of it.
So
we do a report.
So you do a report initially, like this is the keywords that you need to be targeting.
Well, we do like the kind of a cross corroboration kind of thing. So it's like, here are all the keywords when you'll get traffic, and let's sync that with all the things that you actually do.
Okay.
And make sense, and then that's like.
So do you show them this like on a like a share screen, like you're doing a call and you're like, hey, look at this, or
this kind of happens on the onboarding call.
On the well, that's what I'm saying. You're on a call. You're talking about them. You're like, hey, we've done this keyword research. We want to show you like what from this like matches up.
Like, do all these keywords make sense to you? And they say yes.
So
or
you're
no.
like doing a share screen at this point. Right?
We're probably sent them the report already, and we're like, and they have it up.
Oh, they have it up, and you're just talking to them. Okay, so that's that we can do.
So and then we make sure that we have all their keywords added. We use SERPbook, so you definitely want to make sure from like day one you're tracking.
Okay.
You don't want to wait too long because you might already have progress, and then you can't.
Using SEMrush for this.
Okay, SEMrush fine.
Yeah.
You're going to have a game plan. You don't necessarily have to start working on it, but you should be pretty ready or have identified pages that need revamped, like meta titles, descriptions.
Okay.
And the 30, 60, 90 over time, you'll work on it because, if someone has 10 pages, maybe knock that out in a month. But if some of our clients have 500 plus pages, you're not trying to do 500 pages in a month.
Yeah.
You're trying to do it like 6 months maybe.
Yeah.
So you've kind of like identified it. You can use you can use some sort of software. Okay. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but would be able to be like warnings for like titles, descriptions. Google Webmaster Tools used to be okay at that. Decent. I don't know. The next one, you're getting ready to start submitting them for citations. So you need some sort of citation package.
If they're local.
Yeah, if they're local. If they're not, probably not. Next is Google My Business updates. You're gonna schedule that out. So if Google My Business doesn't make sense, sure, you're gonna do like a site speed test. So you could do like Google Insights, something else that you like, and then you're gonna bring that to them and be like, hey, we got to do. We got to do browser caching. We got to do image optimization. We got to get you off your server because you're on the GoDaddy starter. Then you plan that out. You're going to set up your reporting. We use Agency Analytics.
Okay. Actually, you showed me that the other day. It was
cool.
pretty good. You can use Data Studio too if you want. It's super cheap. For the most part, it's free. Sometimes there's some things that you have to purchase that are like third party to like connect like the data. But for the most part, it's a free and like really cheap, cool tool to use.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want something that can even slightly be like a little bit more robust, but I think one of the most important things is like setting up that reporting from like day one and like automating that process. So it's like pulled by a certain date, and then you're like having someone manually send it to like the client. And like with Andrew. Yeah. But yeah, like having reporting, like the last thing you want to do is like have to set all this stuff up a day before you have to send the report.
No, it's too stressful. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the report is set up, and then next is sitemap. Simply, you have the sitemap. If they have one, make sure it's submitted to Google Webmaster Tools. If not, you make one. I'm going to say this one for next, which is a thing I don't think a lot of people do, but it's freaking awesome and makes you look amazing. That's why I'll leave it.
Okay.
Word count. You're going to identify pages that have like, if someone has like a main practice area or a main service page that has like 50 or 100 words on it. You're going to be like, okay, we're going to work to get that to closer to 350 or 400. So you're going to identify those pages. If they have poor internal linking, you're going to look at that. Keyword density, look at that. Another thing that's really important is making sure that their contact forms work.
Okay.
So it's nice to hop in there and be like, hey, listen, your contact form might not work, which actually happens
Maybe you think
a lot. So you submit it, and then you're like, did you get that? And they say no, and they're like, well, your contact forms haven't worked, and thank goodness we identified that for you. And they're like, wow, you've already like proven your worth already, which is crazy. And then also in the same thing, we set up reCAPTCHA for the forms. So some people just are getting spammed and spammed. They're used to it. And it's like you should
so helping them out.
You should never have to get spammed.
Sure.
So the big thing that we do for all clients is we do a plagiarism check for their whole website, because you'd be surprised how many people just grab content from other websites shamelessly.
I wouldn't.
And then
I've done it.
And you're like, do you know that your whole blog is nothing but stolen content? And they're like, and then they go, oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, I wrote it.
So, yeah, that is a big deal, and I definitely would emphasize doing a plagiarism check for them, and then calling them the thief that they are had they stolen it.
Calling them out. All right.
But on the flip side, there's sometimes that people have
clients.
They've had their content stolen too, though. True. So, anyway, there's a lot of talking. I'm gonna pause this, and we'll be back in a moment. Hey, so we're back.
Hey, we're back.
So we went through the info collection part. We went through website work. These are all things that you're supposed to be, required to do in the first month. There are a lot of things that you're just gonna kind of tell the client you're gonna be doing, and you're gonna, do it on like a 30, 60, 90. Like, for example, it tells descriptions and word count. You're not going to go on a 100-page website and be like, oh, 100 pages need word count and titles, descriptions. I'm going to do it during the onboarding process. It's like, no, you might like identify during the onboarding process, but your 30, 60, 90 and beyond is going to actually do it. So we're moving on to more of the technical SEO stuff, and this is where you can maybe tell us some of the technical aspects.
I want to.
So I only have 3 things here from a technical standpoint. We like to do the schema tags right away.
Okay.
We like to propose website updates. Okay. So when we get new clients, we do tell them we're going to act as a webmaster, and we're going to do all minor site updates.
Yeah.
We tell them that anything that's going to go from like moderate to like a big change, we're going to charge as like hourly.
Okay.
But we do say we're going to do all minor updates. Minor updates being like, uploading images, removing images, doing a couple like little aesthetic changes.
Do you include that if like you're doing blog images?
Yeah.
You don't just say like that's part of the blog package that comes with an image?
No, we're talking about things that were there prior to us working on the website.
I understand.
Is what I'm saying.
Right.
So what we do is during our onboarding, we say like, also like, not having a phone number at the top is not like good for user experience. We notice like this contact form sucks, so we do this. Like we always propose website updates, and again, they're not typically requesting or expecting it, but we tell them that like we think that we want to do these updates because we want to help with like the conversion of your website, so they appreciate that. And then lastly, for the technical standpoint, we do the competitor analysis, and we tend to use SEMrush for that, and we share that. So what are some technical things that you like to look at a website when you start working on it?
Jeez, Ryan, I'm glad that you asked me that.
Go right ahead, my friend.
So I start with just a comprehensive audit, and depending on the type of business it is, if it's locally based or just like a national website, that's when you really break down like the schema. That's going to be important. Google My Business is probably one of the more important aspects of local business.
What kind of schema would you use for a fitness client?
Well, I would use multiple types of schema. I mean, you want to use article schema when you have some good blog posts and stuff.
True.
You want to use your video schema when you have that. You want to just use like the regular old site schema and the business schema. Those are both like really good things to have. Outside of that, I can't think of any particular. I'd have to really go through a bunch of what they offer on there and just pick out like what makes like the most sense for it.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, I mean,
they do sell a product on the website, so.
Oh, they do. That's
like
a big thing. Yeah, this isn't even talking about the e-commerce side of it, because e-commerce can get things real tricky real quick.
It can. So I'm gonna have to deal with a little bit of that. Fortunately for me, he only sells one product, so that's it.
Badass product. It is pretty
great.
I do like it. It's cool. Yeah. Okay, so technically, it can go either way, but we know without doubt the schema, proposing web updates. Again,
I will say that this particular client, super nice guy, not optimized even the least. I mean, I'm talking page titles, not even optimized.
Man, you're gonna go through this whole list then.
Yeah.
Another thing I should probably mention is when we're talking about proposed website updates, you're gonna definitely want to know if they're mobile optimized.
Yes, that is a huge. Right now, there was just an algorithm update that was mobile related. It affected a lot of websites. Also, you want to make sure you have HTTPS. SSL certificate installed, because you're starting to see changes in the servers. That's not just ranking wise, but like Google's mapping are showing that these are untrusted websites now with like bright red letters.
Well, look at that. Now you just add another one to my list because
I'm helping you. You're helping me. Buddy.
Yeah, I gotta add SSL to the list because now that's mandatory.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the pre-launch campaign. It says content strategy, so yeah, I like to have a content 360-90. That doesn't really apply to my clients that have less than 5 articles or pieces of content a month.
Yeah.
So I won't like present it, we'll just kind of do it.
Yeah, so this particular client doesn't have any blogs at all. And maybe he has like one blog. So, that's going to have to be kind of all mapped out, and there's going to have to be a content strategy for him, I think.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm kind of really worried about is video. I think for a lot of the advertisements we want to do on the social side, video is going to speak the most to people on like a lot of these ads, and I have to sort of rely on him to get me that video.
Does he have any videos?
I think he has like a couple of videos. I don't know what the production quality of it is, and I'm not in the video production business. I can kind of find someone outsourced to do it. It's going to be costly, but I think he's actually located in Fort Lauderdale.
This guy is?
Yeah, I think he's here in the state of Florida.
Get out.
Which makes it a little more easier to get video from him. But this kind of puts you in a difficult decision. Like, how do you it's a particular fitness product that is used for exercise.
Yeah.
So you have to showcase how that's used. So you have to have videos of it.
Oh, so he doesn't have a video right now?
I don't know. I got to get all this stuff.
Oh, he's got to do it.
I don't know yet.
Well, we know a good guy in Fort Lauderdale. But anyway,
yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
And then you want to make sure that your plan for link building is like all good to go.
Yeah.
Of course. And you want to make sure if you have social strategy, this is all things like, now it's like just recapping. Make sure you're prepared for content. Make sure you're prepared for like building social. If he's going to do AdWords, make sure either you're going to use his account or you're going to use your own.
Make an account. Yeah.
Just always be prepared. And that's really the whole checklist. And then one thing I want to mention before we start taking questions from the audience is one thing about getting very important information from a client is that you have to be very, very persistent. Okay, so if you're not, like, let's say you got your Facebook, right, and you got your analytics, but you didn't get like the website login. And you asked once and they didn't respond, and then like you wait like 4 days, and then you call and they don't respond, and then you wait a week and they don't respond, and then time goes by. Never ever. It's easy to just slip into that mentality where it's just like, well, I'm trying my best, and I asked, and then like too much time goes by, and then you can't do your campaign, and then the client starts like complaining. You can never. I'm telling you, you can never say it's because you didn't do something. Yeah. You can never ever do that.
At the end of the day, when you provide a report to this client, you're the one who's going to look like an asshole if you don't have that information.
Yeah,
they ask, what did you do this month on my website? What am I paying you? And you can't present like information on that because you don't have a login. They're not really going to give a shit.
Yeah, a client is not going to care.
You're
like
the
a
one who's
month.
going to look back.
If you say like, well, I couldn't do it because I didn't get the login.
Why didn't you get it from me? Why didn't you keep calling?
Believe me, it's always going to be your fault. Yeah, the thing is that their client and you have their best interest at heart. Honestly, you probably should just call every freaking day and email call every day. They're not going to be annoyed that you're like, I have to have your login.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's why it's important to get all this information up front before you start. And sort of make it conditional on like starting when you have all this.
Well, that's the great thing about doing the onboarding form, because that attempts to get all the most important information right off the bat. And if they don't they always fill it out, but if they don't fill out some of the information, then you have to be like, give me, I need it now.
So do you ever do this in person?
An onboarding?
Yeah.
No.
Always over the phone.
Yeah, I mean, we do like
You ever do like a lunch with them? Bring them in and have like a lunch?
That sounds nice.
It does sound nice.
I mean, most of our clients aren't here though.
What would you serve?
What I serve, does that mean that I'm making it for them?
Yeah, would you serve corn dogs?
Corn dogs are pretty...
My friend Taylor really loves corn dogs.
They're very fancy. Good thing that's getting edited.
It's not. We're keeping it in.
I was like, this is such an awkward insertion of nonsense.
So yeah, you should do a lunch. I bet it'd be really nice. And, you serve some corn dogs.
Well, what we like to do is after like the first 3 months, we like to try to do as much like in person as possible, or like face to face or video.
Yeah.
Because it's like once you go through your first 30, 60, 90, then you're going to be like, this is the point where progress is starting to be made. You should start seeing things that we're doing. Our relationship is like on the way. We're about to do another 30, 60, 90 where
everyone's trusting each other.
Man, you're on a roll.
I know.
No, there's a lot, but really, that's like the whole checklist. The only thing I missed was definitely SSL. Definitely be persistent with the info collection. Just stay organized. Present that 30, 60, 90, so they always know like calendar. It's just so they don't have to like wonder what you're doing, because they can just look at the 30, 60, 90 and they're like, oh, it's August 9th. They're working on these 8 things because that's what it says.
Yeah,
and that's cool. It's good to have a dashboard where they can see it. They can always log in and see it in real time. So if they don't want to wait for a monthly report, they can log in.
That's why, like, is there a book?
Well, it's Agency Analytics does that too. They can just log in anytime.
So do you use anything like Trello to like manage all these little tasks after they're assigned? Or what are you using for? Like,
I use Asana.
Okay. Yeah,
Asana's cool.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's easy. We all chat with Slack. We have a little work on certain. I have different chats with teams. I chat with my content team. I chat with my account manager. I chat with development.
Yeah, we use Slack at my main gig.
But yeah, it's great. But onboarding.
Do you ever set like your clients up with Slack?
No, I don't want to talk about Slack. No, that's cool. No offense to them. I'll chat with them. I'll chat with them in email.
It's really bad because like we have a client. We are someone's client. That's like worked with us for a really long time. We have like a Slack account.
I guess I wouldn't be opposed. I just like Slack is one of those things where I feel like it's something we want to chat about daily, and I just don't have anything to chat about.
I feel
daily.
like a lot of clients though like wouldn't have that kind of thing anyways.
I feel like they wouldn't want to talk to me. They don't want to talk to me.
I don't know about that. I think it just depends on like the type of client too. But I know like a lot of fitness clients aren't going to spend any time on Slack. They don't know what it is. They don't care. They don't use it.
So the thing with them is like, I mean, you might have to talk to Chase like a little bit more because I don't do like meetings with them because obviously I do all the I do all the legal clients.
Oh, okay.
I don't talk to any fitness clients. Oh wow. Yeah. But the whole thing is onboarding is a great opportunity to just it's your time to like talk as like kind of like buds, like not buds but like friends, or a lot friendlier before you like venture out like on an official like business venture where you're kind of like shooting the shit a little bit and you get to know them and you're letting them know like here are all the things that we're gonna do and this is what we expect.
Part of it's like a comfort thing for them too, right? Because a lot of people this is a big investment. This is a big
it is
monetary.
You don't want to always lose sight of the fact that a lot of people with fitness, they don't have like crazy budgets, and this could really make or break them.
This particular client, this is his dream. Like he's been dreaming about doing this for years, and so this is him taking that first step to really accomplish it.
Well, I think that he would be happy to know that we sat down on a Saturday and discussed all the steps we have to take to make his campaign successful.
I think so too,
because this is what that was. You can forward him this podcast and be like,
probably not.
And just be like, your 30, 60.
I don't know what I'm hearing the other ones. I don't know about that.
Just say like your 30, 60, 90 is everything I talked about in this podcast.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so I think we've covered this entire checklist. Is there anything else on here that makes sense to go over on a podcast? I don't think so.
Was there anything that wasn't like super clear about like the onboarding process? I don't want people to think that everything I listed means it's going to be done in like the first month. It's pretty much some of them things are going to be done in the first week, some are going to be the first couple weeks.
Spend the hour scheduling out, mapping out what you're going to do for 30, 60, and 90 days.
Yeah.
Just spend a little bit of time there. It's going to make everyone feel like a lot more comfortable. It's going to make your client feel really comfortable when they see that. And then it also gives them a chance to give feedback and maybe like change that kind of stuff ahead of time. So when you get to like the end of the first month, and maybe they thought something was going to get done, and it isn't, then like you can know about it more.
Yeah, and then another great thing is we really take advantage of onboarding because it's the first time they're seeing like your work already. So what happens is like you sign them up on Friday, right, or like Thursday, and then you're talking about Monday, and then you hit them with like a competitive analysis, you hit them with 30, 60, 90, you hit them with like research, and they're like, wow, you already are like gung ho, you're freaking pumped up, you're excited. Like if it's one of those times where like if a client was like iffy and they're like, man, I'm like spending kind of a lot of money.
Another opportunity to sell that.
Yeah, they're just like, I like this is a big investment. I signed a contract. This is like your chance for them to walk away and be like, I'm so confident now.
And keep in mind too, your goal isn't just to sign a client and do a good job for them. Your job is to sign a client, keep that client, and upsell that client.
The whole goal is upsell.
More stuff.
The whole thing is upsell.
Like they always say, it's like the 80-20 rule. Like 80% of your business is going to come from 20% of like your clients.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, and it's like it holds true just for this, just like anything else. So.
Cool. So that's all I got. If you have any questions, Write me a postcard.
And feel free to check us out on YouTube. We have a channel now. Just search SEO's Dead and Other Lies. We put every podcast up there. We respond pretty quickly. If you leave a comment or anything like that, we'll get back to you. And hey, we're always open to having SEOs on and talking to them and hearing about their experiences.
Yeah, we're gonna
in the industry as well. I think we're gonna have our first legit non-friend SEO guest on pretty soon.
An enemy?
No,
I hate
acquaintance.
that. I hate that guy. Come on in.
Yeah, an SEO. I would say he's my friend. He's my work friend.
Well, you just said
you
he
don't
was
know. So.
No, I don't.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're always looking to talk to other SEOs in the industry and getting other perspectives of things.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's getting sick of just hearing us all the time.
Yeah, probably.
Especially me. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's been super real. It started raining. We're going to take a break. We're actually going to do another for a double feature today.
Great. Double feature day.
Yeah, the next one's going to be super swell.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. This has been another episode of SEO's Dead and Other Lies. I'm Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
All right. Take care.
Bye. 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 Bye.